Hello, welcome to the Podcorn. Hey Sammy, how's it going?
Good.
Oh, that sounds pretty average to me.
What?
Is it early in the morning for you?
Yeah, it's a bit early.
It's before midday, but I'm quite keen and eager, aren't I? Now, listen, Podcorners, I'm Elle. I might sound like a bubbly, innovative person, but yes, I've got a horrible sore throat and cold. So if my voice starts to fade as we're going, don't panic about me. I've got water nearby. I've just taken immuno shot.
What?
It's like a little juice thing that I got in our shop, and it's awesome. It was on special offer, and it was only £1, and it's like a shot of like ginger, lemon juice, and something else. I don't know.
What? And you just drink it?
Yeah, you just drink it, and it like gives you like power, superpowers to be
gives
better.
you energy.
Gives you energy, baby. So I'm on that. So I've probably got about 29 minutes left of energy.
of energy.
Anyway, what's been happening this week, Sammy? What have we been watching?
28 days later, 28 weeks later, and 28 years later.
Wow, it's been a
It's
a
lot.
marathon of zombies.
They didn't make it 28 months later. I don't know why they
that's
didn't.
really
I don't
thrown
know why.
you, hasn't
it's
it?
just it's really made me upset. You know, it's broken my OCD.
Yeah, it's really bothered you. What would that calculate to in years? Like 2 years and 4 months later. Let's talk about that then, because the reason that they didn't make a 28 months later is because presumably we've got 28 days, then 5 years later
They made 28 weeks.
they made 28 weeks, and then
They sort of left
how many
it
years
for a
later?
little while.
2007 to now.
Yeah, 18 years.
Yeah, so obviously they thought it was over after the second
After
one.
28 weeks.
Yep. But then decided to come back for this one. So maybe it just wasn't the right time.
Maybe not, yeah. I think that this film definitely wouldn't work if it was 28 months later. Like, the story can only work with it being 28 years later.
Yes,
new
for
one.
many a reason. Now we have to be
Yeah.
super careful talking about 28 years later, not to do any spoilers,
Yeah.
because it is in the cinema, released on Friday. And we were lucky enough to go and see it yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's extremely hot in the UK at the moment, so it's actually quite nice to go into a cinema for a couple
Yeah,
of hours.
that's pretty nice and cool.
But we'd also, just to kind of like build ourselves up for it, we'd watch 28 days and 28 weeks later.
Yeah.
In fact, we watched 28 weeks later early in the morning.
Yeah.
So, like yesterday, I felt a little bit zombied out, to be fair.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot of gratuitous deaths. And...
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, let's talk about 28 days later first, before we jump into
let's
the new ones.
So, give us a synopsis.
So, there are some activists going into a lab, and there are these monkeys that are being tested on with this kind of virus that makes them go a bit nuts.
Yep.
And then the monkeys escape, and the virus starts spreading, and it turns these people into basically just zombies that will but they're not like the normal slow zombies. They're like rapid. They chase you and shit, and they make weird noises.
Yeah. And I've got to say,
pretty freaky stuff.
I love that first scene in 28 days. How many times am I going to get the title of the films wrong? I love that first scene with all the monkeys and when it jumps out at her and gets her face.
Really good.
Probably then, you're settling in to watch that film and you know you're up for a good film because it's quite raw in how it's shot. Isn't it?
Definitely. Like the really sort of home digital camera type thing that most people had in the early 2000s. That's what it was shot on. And it's just this really low quality image, and it just adds to a lot of the fear in the film.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And a very young Cillian Murphy as well.
This was his first film, I think.
Was
or
it?
His breakout role or something.
Wow, he does brilliant in it.
He's really good in it, yeah.
I mean, again, I love the sort of opening scenes with him where he's walking around London.
Just walking through a completely empty London, and it's just like, how did they film this so empty?
And you've got to think, I mean, at the time, my thing is at the moment, I've watched every season of Walking Dead, and I feel like zombies are a bit overdone, to be fair. But bearing in mind, this is probably one of the original ideas and films for zombies, I feel like it's a bit of a masterpiece.
Well, it might not be like the original zombie film, but it's definitely a different approach on zombies, where they're not like these sort of slow-moving, mindless things, but
And it's pre The Walking Dead, which is obviously brought, The Walking Dead brought zombies into the mainstream.
But it's just really well done suspense. All the characters are very entertaining, With some of the newer ones, it feels like they don't quite have the characters down. Whereas with this one, Cillian Murphy, he's a really easy to root for protagonist. He does a really good job in the role. And when he's waking up in the hospital, and it's just like, what has happened? 'Cause it's only been like a month, and literally everyone has just died.
How do you reckon they did all the empty streets?
I don't know, yeah.
Like, what the hell? How did they manage to did they recreate mini London, or?
On the motorway as well, the scenes where it's just, they're driving along completely empty.
So how did they do those?
I don't know. I think they must have just shot it really early in the morning.
Yeah, I feel like it must have been an early morning shoot. Like they just clear the roads or something at like 5, 6 in the morning on a summer's day where it's light, and then just go for it. I mean, that would be awesome to be part of the film crew or to be filming that. Kind of reminds me of the scene in, what's the Tom Cruise one where he's running around Times Square?
Oh, Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, I love that scene as well. It's just so cool how they've done it.
I think that the sound design as well, especially in the first one, is really, really good. Like in some of the later ones, it's sort of, I have a few issues with it, but in the first one, it's just really well done,
And I love that piece of music that they use. Oh, yeah. That they actually then take on consistently throughout all the films, don't they?
Yeah, it's so good.
It's a great piece of music.
There's a sort of surprise-ish in the final bit of the film, where it's like there are a bunch of characters introduced who haven't been it before, but I guess we'll talk about that more in spoilers. But I think that it's really well done in the first one, whereas in the newer ones it sort of
can do spoilers for the first
a surprise ending.
Okay, so then we shifted on to 28 weeks later. Thoughts? Star-studded cast, I thought. So like we've got Robert Carlyle. Is his name Robert Carlyle?
I think so.
Yeah, something
He's
like
in
that.
Trainspotting.
He's in Trainspotting.
Danny Boyle loves him, but Danny Boyle didn't direct 28 Weeks.
Yeah, okay, and Alex Garland didn't write it. Am I right in thinking
he didn't
that?
Write it either.
So this film feels like it was a bit of a...
It's the odd one out.
Odd one out, yeah, a hash up. So we've basically got Robert Carlyle, we've got Rose Byrne, who was at the time becoming quite big in the old Halsey Woods. We've got the guy out of The Arrival and Hurt Locker. Can't remember his name, but
Jeremy Renner.
That's the one. And who else was famous? A couple of other faces popped up.
Harold Perrineau from Romeo and Juliet and Lost. Idris Elba.
Oh, Idris Elba, that's who I'm thinking of. So a pretty good cast, made in 2007. What do we think of this one, Sammy?
It's not the best. I don't know, it just didn't have the characters there. Like, I felt like I hardly knew Jeremy Renner's character at all in it. Like, he was in like 10 minutes of screen time top. All the characters were so stupid. And it's just so frustrating.
Let's talk about stupidity. Let's talk about the kids. The kids, I mean, this whole film felt like it had been splattered a bit with Hollywood. And like the kids just kind of topped that off. These kind of like pretty blonde children that look nothing like their parents, by the way. So these kids, they look nothing like their parents. They're obviously chosen because either they're someone on the cruise kids or casting just kind of feel like, oh yeah, we need some good looking children in it. They're bloody stupid and irritating. And to be fair, the whole reason that the whole thing falls down is because of them. Because they stupidly decided to sneak off of the quarantine premises. I mean, who does that?
I know. But even dumber was that at the start of the film, this guy, he leaves his wife to get killed by the zombies, and he's feeling really bad about it, and he's lying to his kids. And then the kids, they escape to go back to their old house, and they find their mum there. And I swear that the house that they went to was entirely different to the house at the start of the film. Because like at the start of the film, the house was in like a field or something.
Yeah,
they go to their house where the mum is.
Oh no, but that is different though. Because don't forget, for some reason the kids got split up from their parents. Yeah. And the parents had gone to a kind of place somewhere.
But why would the mum be at the house that was totally different to where she got bitten?
Well, she'd obviously travelled back there, hadn't she? Yeah, I guess. But yeah, it was quite tenuous, wasn't it?
She was brutally injured by. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So so first of all, the kids decide to escape the quarantined area to basically just go and have like a joyride and a fun day out. I mean, who does that? Like, we're in a zombie apocalypse where you could get killed at any second.
In the first one, everyone is so cautious about the zombies.
Yeah,
If they get bitten, they're like beaten in the head by a bat.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's probably a smart thing to do in the apocalypse.
Exactly.
But in this one, it's like society has regressed backwards.
Yeah.
And everyone is just completely stupid.
But they've gone a bit Hollywood.
The dumbest part of the whole film for me was when this guy sees his wife, who's been infected, but she's immune, and he starts kissing her.
Yeah.
He knows that this disease is transferred via saliva.
Yeah.
And yet he still decides to kiss his wife. Like,
he
so
knows
stupid.
that, but also he watched her almost like at the window, knowing that there were like 3 zombies that were going to rip her apart in the room.
Yeah,
yet
he
still
saw her get
decides
infected
to pop in, and like he doesn't just kiss her.
It's a full-on
tongue
snog.
yeah.
It's like.
Which again, I question a time and a place for a full-on tongue kiss. And then obviously he gets infected, and that leads
the whole thing
the whole thing goes downhill.
Let's talk about the helicopter.
I've got that. Helicopters on my little notes in my head. I mean, the helicopter scene was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What on earth?
I know.
Talk us through it.
So I don't even know what the stakes were at that moment. Like, why the helicopter was flying in.
The helicopter was trying to come.
Yeah,
and
it was trying to
rescue
them, and then there are a bunch of zombies, and it goes through, and it starts like splattering all the zombies
It uses
everywhere.
its propellers to attack the zombies, basically, and there's just this like probably minute and 30 seconds of like bits of head and stuff flying all around. It just looked really badly shot, to be fair.
It was poor.
It was poor, yeah.
It was really bad. And the shaky cam in it as well. Like in the first one, it's this sort of low quality style, but you can still very much tell what's going on in each shot. It's just really well edited, and the whole thing works very well. But in 28 Weeks Later, it's all done in shaky cam, and like there's quick cuts, and it's all really dark as well, and it's impossible to tell what's going on.
It was really dark. I don't even get help that we were watching it on a sunny morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I missed quite a bit because I was like, I didn't see what happened there. It was too dark. Yeah, a bit of a shame, really. I mean, we sound like we really hated it.
But that music, oh my god, that music, it saves the whole film.
Oh, the music pulls it all together. You know, I thought Robert Collar was pretty good in it, to be fair.
Yeah, I thought it was like the lead in the film, but then 40 minutes in...
they kill him off, yeah. I kind of feel a bit like the film was really good up until he met the kids at the train station at the beginning.
Oh yeah, the very opening of the film is perfect.
Like the opening of the film is brilliant. You know, it really, within the first like 10 minutes, you see him leave his wife to save himself, and it's like, okay, this is some good shit.
It's going to really play into like this guy's guilt over it, and then you just completely forget
also
about
just
everything.
the moral decisions of being in a
moral
zombie apocalypse. I've got a question for you.
What?
So we're in a room.
Yeah.
The zombies come in. It's quite likely that I'm going to get deaded.
Mm-hmm.
You could escape.
Yeah.
Do you try and save me?
No, I escape.
Yeah, nice. You don't even stop to think about it. Your beautiful mum who birthed you. You've gone.
Let's not talk about zombie births.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
God.
We will touch on a zombie birth in a moment. Actually, I'm writing that on my notes. Zombie birth. Yes, people. The first zombie birth I've ever seen occurred in the third film, 28 years later. Is it worth moving on to 28 years later now?
Probably, yeah. And then at the end, we can do a ranking.
Yeah, definitely. Where to start? We need to give a very brief synopsis of the film without any spoilers, people. Sammy, how do you feel about doing that?
So, it's 28 years after the infection.
Yeah.
And there's this remote island in England, and England has been like quarantined basically, so that no zombies can escape. But they're trapped.
Is it the Scottish Highlands or something?
Yeah, the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah.
So they're trapped in this island. There's this causeway that goes over to mainland where all the zombies are, and it's sort of like a thing that everyone does in their lives when they're like a kid to sort of become a man, and
they go over to the main island
and kill some zombies.
Because let's be honest, they're quite happy in this little highland. They're not trapped there. They've basically built
their own
fort around it, and they're rebuilding society.
So it's about a dad and his kid, and they go to the mainland for the first time. And it sort of goes from there.
The start of this film, like the first 25 minutes, I'd say were pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were just like the first one in terms of like the tone and the scares. And it was by far the goriest as well. I loved like the little flashback bits that they did where it went all red and it sort of like showed like all the zombies.
There were also some other flashbacks happening with kind of like old army footage,
Yeah.
weren't there, throughout, with a kind of weird woman's voice. It was a little bit Squid Game-ish. I found that quite interesting as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it Squid Game.
No,
Ish,
okay, I can't quite put my finger on how to describe it then. It was kind of like a woman's voice though.
Yeah, it was the
speaking
audio
over,
from the trailer.
Yeah, it was pretty good and it kind of like added to the tension of it, didn't it? Couple of things to point out here. The young lad in it takes a
So
very,
good.
very lead role.
He's so good in it, though.
He is, start to finish, he is in it. And he is superb
He is
in
the
it.
main character, definitely. And he does a great job.
It's very, very rare to get a child actor that can hold a film together like that.
Literally,
I'd say he was really...
You can just feel every single emotion and he makes everything that his character does believable, you know?
Exactly that. It felt really very raw and real and you don't get that very often. Whereas the kids in the second film, they were so Hollywood, you know? They were so scripted.
They were just really stale and like not believable at
So
all.
this young lad was brilliant in it. And he... What's he called?
I'm going to get his name up.
He almost had sort of adolescence vibes about him. The same
I
kid
was
out of
thinking that as well.
I mean, they looked a bit similar.
I haven't even
didn't
seen
they?
Adolescence, but
yeah, they look a bit similar. But also, he acted superbly in it.
Alfie Williams, that's what he's called.
Alfie Williams.
He did a great flipping job.
What else has Alfie Williams been in?
Not much.
How old is he? I'd say he's probably
really
about...
He's probably around like 13, 12, like same age as the actor in the film.
Yeah. So he goes off to the mainland island with his dad, and then it's kind of about the situations that they get themselves into after that. Worth name checking a couple of other roles in it. So Jodie Comer is absolutely brilliant in it as the boy's mum, but she plays a woman that's quite ill in it, and she's brilliant. I mean, I've really only seen her in Killing Eve, and so she's so different. Ralph Fiennes comes into it.
Very late, but he did a
Very
good job.
late. Watch out for him. It can make your eyes go a bit funny because when he first came on, I was like, why is he so visually unappealing looking? He covers himself in iodine, apparently, which is a good way to
scares the
zombies away. But he is so yellow. It's unbelievable.
I know. I love Ralph, though. He's one of my favourite actors.
Yeah.
So he did a good job.
So let's just cover off the zombie birth quickly.
Oh, and Aaron Taylor-Johnson as the dad.
What's he been in? I thought I recognised him.
He's been in...
He also looks a bit like Casey Affleck. The one out of Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah, he's been in Bullet Train. I don't know if you've seen any of these films.
He's very good in it, though. He's very good. A really good cast in it, basically. But yeah, let's talk about the zombie birth, because it's a bit random. And it won't spoil anything for you. But at one point, they shoot onto a scene of all of the zombies, and you see a, pretty much naked woman.
Oh yeah,
you
all
see
the
a
zombies
naked
are naked
woman.
in this.
Oh yeah, all the zombies are naked, as you do.
Especially that alpha zombie.
Yeah, we'll talk about the alpha zombie in a minute. Let's just talk about the birth first. So the first time you see this woman wandering through the water, it's just a kind of like sideline shot, and she's got this massive belly. Looks like she's about to pop, and I'm a bit like, sorry, how does a zombie get pregnant?
Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah, they're all running along. It just makes me think, do zombies have a life as well? Do you know what I mean? Yes, they come out and they kind of run along being zombies. But then do they all go home and watch a movie, have a bit of sex? Are they just normal people, really?
I don't know.
Because how the hell did she get pregnant? That's what I want to know.
That's what I'm thinking. How did the zombie get pregnant?
Unless she was pregnant before she got made into a zombie. But then we're 28 years
28
later.
years pregnant.
But then, wait a second. Yeah, if the zombies are still breeding, they obviously are all breeding and... Oh my god, I've just found a major flaw in the whole story.
It's got to be the alpha zombie.
Oh, so you reckon the alpha zombie, who is he's the god of all zombies.
Yeah, he's the leader of the leader of the tribe.
So you reckon he impregnates all the women?
I think so.
Okay. All right. So we've got through that a little bit. So then there's a scene later on where we meet this woman again, and she's obviously in labour and gives birth to a baby that isn't a zombie.
What?
The baby isn't a zombie.
Yeah, but that's what I'm reacting to that, saying, what? How is it not a zombie?
Possible?
I don't know.
I think the baby probably is a zombie.
A normal person has gone and shagged a zombie and
kind of, some people have some weird, sick fetishes, though,
Yeah.
don't they? You know, like, what turns you on? Yeah, fucking zombies.
Could Ralph have done it?
Could Ralph have done it? Yeah.
Could have been Ralph.
So, anyway, the baby is birthed. It's really weird, isn't it?
It's like...
just an odd...
There's also this Swedish guy
thing.
who's in it a bit in the middle.
Oh, Eric.
Eric, he's weird.
I found him a bit random, sort of thrown into it.
I don't get why.
I think it's worth saying that I found this whole film a bit random. Like, I enjoyed it, but I just felt like it wasn't written particularly well. So was this Alex Garland again? I just felt like they'd thrown a few different ideas in and kind of like not really thought them through.
It's got too much going on.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a clear through line of what the plot is, and it fluctuates too much in like tone, because at one point it's like a classic scary zombie film and you're like, okay, this is great, and then it splits off around halfway through into just a completely different plot, and it's just like out of nowhere.
That's it does all the work at the beginning, developing some of the characters like the dad, and then don't feature on him for the rest of the film.
It's really random, especially that ending, which I hated. But I'm not gonna spoil it. All I'm gonna say is that the ending is crazy.
You hated it, okay. The thing that probably most disturbed me, and I've been really toying with whether to bring this up because it's a tricky one. It's the humongous,
oh my god,
penis size of the alpha. I mean, and like you couldn't. I'm not being a pervert here, guys. You couldn't not see that.
It filled up the whole frame.
It was almost like
genuinely.
They were focusing. I mean, he's a big guy anyway, isn't he? He's a bit like, who's Aquaman?
Jason Momoa.
He's a bit like him, but it's almost like they've puffed him up a bit. But in every shot, he's like running towards people, and you just see this giant horse cock flapping around, and it's really disturbing.
It is pretty massive. I'm not gonna lie.
What were the reviews on about? I mean, did people know? Are we the only people that noticed this huge?
Everyone noticed the huge zombie cock because it was unavoidable.
Oh
like,
god, yeah, you
genuinely.
could not look at it, could you? I mean,
oh my god,
I don't know what to say about it other than it kind of took away from the authenticity of the film. Yeah,
it was like, are we trying to be a serious film here, or are we trying to make like a?
Well, for me, it made it a little bit Marvel and a little bit. I mean, it did. It just
in every single Marvel film, you know, you see.
Well, yeah, you don't. But do you know what I mean? It just took away from the raw authenticity of the original film. If you think, I mean, in the original film, we do see a penis. We see Cillian Murphy right at the beginning. Thing
we see of him.
Yeah, nice little flaccid penis. You know, nothing special, but. It just
the alpha zombie's ginormous horse cock.
Like,
you know,
no one's gonna have that. Like, I don't.
Well, he's the alpha zombie for a reason, isn't he?
Well, because he impregnates all the women and la la la. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to know, what were they thinking when they created the pregnant zombie,
the pregnant zombie
alpha
was
male.
Just like,
it just all feels a bit odd.
I'm so confused with just what they were thinking, what Alex Garland was thinking, especially because he's a good screenwriter. He's really good.
Brilliant.
I don't know. It was too random for me.
It was a bit random. Again, no spoilers, but there is a scene towards the end that might make you well up a bit. Sammy, were you welling up or were you just sweating? I'm not sure.
I was. It was.
You were,
I wasn't crying, but I was like, oh
you
my god,
definitely were a bit starry-eyed.
This is quite moving.
Yeah, okay. Nice. There was a nice bit of music. It was a bit of a montage. So look out for that bit. Right, let's rank them then.
I'd say that the best one is pretty easily the first one.
Yeah,
I'd give the first one like an 8 out of 10. I think it's really good.
Yeah, same for me. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
The second best one, I'd say, is 28 Years Later.
Okay, interesting.
I enjoyed it. It's a bit messy, but it's still got some awesome like zombie moments.
Yeah.
It's by far the goriest of the three of them as well.
Okay.
Like the spines getting ripped out.
Oh, that is that. Yeah, we haven't spoken about that, but yeah, check that bit out because it's totally unnecessary.
It's awesome, though.
But yeah, Sammy loved it. Basically, you rip off someone's head, but you pull out their whole spine with them as well. So yeah, really, really nice.
Really lovely stuff. I mean, I'd say the weakest. I'd say the new one is a 7 out of 10. I'd recommend it. It's good.
Yep. Yep, I'd go 6, 7 for the new one. Yeah.
And then the weakest one for me is 28 Weeks Later.
I think I'd agree with all of that. I enjoyed 28 Years Later. There were just a few bits that I kind of thought were a bit odd. But overall, it was a good film. Do you know what I like about these films as well? They don't stretch them out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're sort of, at their shortest, 1:40 to 1:55.
Yeah. They're really quick.
Yeah.
They're just fun. You're never going to be bored during them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're just good zombie films.
Yeah.
And they are genuinely pretty scary as well. Like, there's a lot of scenes where it's like, oh my god, this is stressful. They're really good, yeah.
Yesterday's one I thought was a bit stressful at points.
Yeah.
It was like, ah. And actually, we were in quite a quiet cinema, weren't we? Even though it was a big screen, I think because it's such a hot weekend, and we went during the day, there were only probably about 10 other people in the cinema.
Less than that, it was like 3.
Maybe less than that, but at one point there was a woman on her own quite near us, like leaned forward, really gripped.
It is just a really gripping film though.
Yeah, it was
like,
great.
It's not one that you're going to be like, oh, let me just look at my phone. It's really good. And it was shot on iPhone as well. Because the first one was like on like a sort of shitty digital camera that most people would have to have that homemade feel. But this new one is now on iPhone, which is the camera that most people have at home.
Nice.
So it also sort of carries on that homemade feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could see that. That was really good. Yeah.
And there were some sort of like Matrix style shots where like it was like bullet time, where the arrow would hit the person in the head and then the camera would like slap around. Like, you know, in the Matrix where it's he jumps up and then the camera goes around him.
Oh, of course,
but he stays still.
Yeah,
they did a bit of that.
But yeah.
They were pretty poorly done, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, there were just some weird directing decisions in this one.
Yeah, maybe Danny had his mind on other things. Good news is, I'm not sure if this is good news, looks like there's going to be a sequel.
Oh, yeah.
28 years later and a bit more.
The Bone Temple.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Oh, is it called The Bone
Temple?
So there is another film coming. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say the ending went a bit maverick for me.
Ending...
It suddenly turned into like something from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was just random, but we can't talk too much about that without ruining the film for you. Go see it. Definitely worthwhile seeing it.
28 Days is an 8 out of 10. What about you?
Yep, 8 out of 10.
28 Years is...
6 out of 10.
Ooh, I'd give it a 7. And then 28 Weeks, I'd give it a 6. What would you give it? 28 Weeks is the middle one with the annoying kids.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I've got mixed up. I'd give like the first one I'd give an 8 out of 10. The other two I'd probably give between a 6 and a 7. Yeah. All right, guys. So we will see you next week.
What comes out next week?
Don't know. What's coming up?
F1.
Oh, I really do want to see that actually.
Yeah,
we'll
maybe
have a think about
F1 next week, possibly.
All right, guys. Have great weeks. See you later.
Have great weeks.
Bye.
Bye.